But the homies weren't like, they was also lost. They was also doing like crazy things. I can't blame them. People always say like, oh, you hung around the wrong crowd. I was like, nah, bro, like I was the wrong crowd. Like I was the one fucking like, I'm not gonna put it on them. Like it's my age, they fucking up too.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
The more time you have alone or isolated or with your own thoughts, the easier it is for you to truly understand what you enjoy in life. And the less clouded you feel. I felt like while I was out, and I feel like that now. So like while you're so consumed by this day-to-day process, like you just get up, you got all these things you got to do. You don't have really a lot of time for self-reflection. And while I was down, I had just the world. I had nothing but time to self-reflect. Like, what do you really enjoy? Like, who are you really? You know?
Right.
Yo, welcome to the Part of Everything podcast, where we explore unique individuals on unique journeys, telling unique stories.
We show the connection that all these different stories have in these different life paths. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an employee, or even a CEO, there's something that we can all relate to.
If you want to follow some more episodes, you can definitely tap in on YouTube or any other streaming platform that you have. But other than that, let's get to it. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Part of Everything podcast. I'm your host, Jevon.
It's Miguel.
Mike, what's going on, yo?
And this is the podcast where we share unique paths and share unique journeys. You know, we have a dope perspective here today. My guy, Majid.
Appreciate that.
How you feeling, bro?
Feel good, man. Feel good. Life's great. Life's beautiful.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How's the week been? How's everybody's week been? Checking in.
Mine's great. School, like always.
Right.
Last semester, graduating.
Where do you go?
I'm at the School of Mines, Colorado School of Mines.
Oh, okay.
Senior year.
Dope.
7th year.
Last
Seventh year
semester.
undergrad. Last semester, man.
Yeah, how you feeling, bro?
It feels great. It feels great, honestly. Senior design's been good. Like, the people been good. Network's been good. Really been trying to get to that end goal.
For sure.
Try to get that degree. Try to hopefully get a doctorate.
What's the end goal, bro?
Man, that's hard. Like long-term end goal, I'd love to start business maybe. I'd love to maybe become a professor.
Okay.
Work at a national lab, really do science. And then also the philanthropic side of me wants to give back to people who had the same type of difficulty I had growing up. And,
For sure.
similar life experiences, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, tell me a little about your story growing up.
Yeah, definitely. So I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. Went to Overland High School, Prairie Middle School. Lived in the same house for pretty much my entire life. Expo Park.
Shout out Aurora Public Schools.
I swear. And growing up, honestly, I had two-parent household, so parents were always there. Really instilled the value of higher education. Really pushed me to try to push myself in life. But I was dealing with my own demons, my own little issues in life that I feel like was manifesting in poor decision making. And I felt really lost, being honestly like an Arab growing up in the 2000s has been crazy. Especially as a kid. I remember I was in elementary school when 9/11 happened and feeling ostracized by some kids in class because they probably hearing stuff from their parents that are low-key racist or bigoted.
Right.
And so you feel like you want to blend in and get along and really feel accepted, but you're also trying to develop your own story in your own life and really find purpose. I feel like I had no purpose, especially growing up. You just felt felt extremely lost. And had this extreme desire to be loved and accepted by people in the community, by peers, absolutely. And so doing that, feeling lost, and having a really reckless mentality, got caught up, just make some crazy decisions. I ended up robbing when I was 17 years old in high school and went to prison for 7 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, life's crazy.
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's
7 years is a long time.
That's quite a result from just as you put it, bad decision making, where something like that doesn't sound as impactful as it is.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time it's the compounding of multiple decisions.
Yeah.
Like, I guess what led you down
That path? Yeah. I think you're right. It is a compounding of many decisions. I think in general, experiences you have in life are the result of 1,000 things that had to have happened just right for that one experience to happen, right? So I feel like not only feeling like I had this group of friends that I really wanted to be cool with, or for them to like feel like I was cool. It's not only them, but a lot of group of friends, a lot of people. You're just really trying to find yourself and find what's cool, what's not cool. Honestly, going to Overland, a lot of people were at least a lot of people I know were doing crazy stuff and was wilding out. And I feel like I took that, and then having like ADHD and really like very impulsive and not really like thinking of consequences as much as the action itself, really just took what a lot of people in my immediate surrounding was doing and just went to like a whole new level with it. And,
what would you tell that age? What would you tell your 17 or like 15-year-old self? Like as you're getting older.
You know what's crazy is the nonprofit work that I do, I'm always asked that like can you speak to kids or communicate with them, try to show them a different way, or like my mom asked me like what different could we have done, like what different could you have done, like what could I have told you, or what could you have told yourself that could have had a different outcome. And a part of me feels like at some level you learn from mistakes, right? Like you have to go through it sometimes to really like have that experience, like either be an eye-opening experience or something that really defines the trajectory of where you're going to go in life.
Right.
And another part feels like a big part of me feels like the amount of support and opportunities and engagement also affects the outcome of your life, right? So I was blessed to have a wonderful family that gave me a lot of support, was really there trying to guide me. I think I was just not receptive to it because I didn't find their love and support as valuable as, let's say, some like the homies or something like that. But the homies weren't like, they was also lost. They was also doing like crazy things. I can't blame them. People always say like, oh, you hung around the wrong crowd. I was like, nah, bro, like I was the wrong crowd. Like I was doing like I'm not gonna put it on them. Like it's my age, they fucking up too. Yeah, you know? Right. Like they doing their thing too. So it's hard. It's easy. I think it's easy to be like, oh, you're the good kid. You just got caught up. You know. I was like, nah, man. I was as lost as everyone else, and it's hard to like look back and say, hey, tell this 15-year-old kid who's really has this like lack of desire, lack of passion, lack of purpose, that like everything's gonna be good as long as you make these correct decisions, right? And so you just struggle through it in life. You learn from your failures, and it's kind of tragic because like you really want to help people not go down that road. And you can to an extent. Some people will be receptive. So like having those voices there constantly saying what you're doing is wrong, or you can make better decisions, or here's a different track you go down is necessary. It's absolutely necessary. Right. It's not to say that like that people learn from from their mistakes, so therefore let's not have a support system around, right? You still need that. But I don't know. I don't know if life would have been different if I was able to tell if me showed up in my previous self's life and was trying to help him, right? Because I was a completely different person. Yeah, he would have shut it down. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Right. Which I did to so many other people in my life.
Right. Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard.
So tell everybody what you're into now.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
So like I said, so while I was incarcerated, did 7 years. While I was down, I really took my parents up on that offer of going to school and how it really will change your life. And I really try to make a point that higher education creates opportunities and will really be like the thing that defines the direction I go in life, right? Be the thing that helps me reinvent myself. So So I just started taking a few classes in California where I was incarcerated. They had the ability for people who were or to take classes without having to pay because it was taxpayer funded.
Yeah.
So I was just taking like little classes here and there, and then while I was doing that, I was really interested in understanding astronomy. It's funny because I feel like the more time you have alone or isolated or with your own thoughts, the easier it is for you to truly understand what you enjoy in life, and the less clouded you feel. I felt like while I was out, and I feel like that now. So like what you're so consumed by this day-to-day process, like you just get up, you got all these things you got to do. You don't have really a lot of time for self-reflection. And while I was down, I had just the world. I had nothing but time to self-reflect. Like, what do you really enjoy? Like, who are you really? You know?
Right. Damn. Let's take it like before that. Like, as a adolescent, did you have like a dream job or something or?
Nah.
No, just
I couldn't say I did.
Right.
I think I want to be a math teacher.
Sure.
And then
I honestly did not have any. I wanted to be everything every year. Like I could not.
Did you
pick
like?
nothing?
Yeah, I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I realized so much school, and I'm like, nah, I'm good,
Right.
Put up this business.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be a math teacher. And my math teacher told me to pick a different profession.
Oh damn! Bro. Yeah, that's definitely damn.
That's harsh.
That's harsh.
Hey,
But I
it's
think he
real,
said that
though.
because he didn't
Yeah.
get paid a lot. He was like, man, you could do something else.
That's definitely that'll change your mind.
Yeah,
because
so
like
I
if
was like,
somebody
why
that
do
wasn't
this?
a math teacher said
He
don't
said
do
it,
it,
yeah,
you're like,
you're
what the
like,
fuck that I'm gonna do it.
That's crazy. Teachers really like say shit like that.
That's
That's
crazy.
real, though. Like, I'd rather a teacher be like, man,
You don't want to do
want
this. You don't want to do this. Yeah,
Real
true.
life ain't- You don't want this.
Right.
True.
So then, as you get older, I guess you just get more into the streets as time goes on. Just hanging out with people.
Yeah,
trying to
absolutely.
Find stuff to do.
Smoking more weed. I think I
Right.
started drinking. You know, I was more consumed with concerned with like the party and that scene.
Right.
Less concerned with my school. Just got expelled. I kept smoking weed on campus and finally got expelled. Went to an alternative school, the Manor, which
Oh,
is a
shit.
crazy little school. It was like ended at like 1 o'clock.
Oh wow.
And, like, it was, oh man, that school was wild. I think it was like 12 people in the entire school. It was like a little alternative school. Didn't do well there. Really just had, I think I was struggling most with myself. It was like an inner battle between like trying to define who you are and like what you want and really rejecting what everyone else is telling you what you should be and although it's good for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really rejecting that in the strongest of ways. I was reckless, man.
In that, like being reckless, did it occur to you? Did you care like what the consequences could be?
Honestly, wasn't even thinking of consequences.
Right.
And because I was so young, I thought, Loki, you think you're invincible. You think the world revolves around you. You think you're not
like,
going
not gonna happen to me.
it's not going.
You hear
I'm not
so
gonna
many
work.
like bad stories
Yeah.
of like you're gonna end up like this. I'm like, not me.
It's not me. I thought I could outbeat the system. My dad always told me that. Like you always think you're slicker than the system. You always think you're gonna beat it, and you get smacked every time. And I got smacked. I got smacked hard. And it was definitely a reality check.
So what were the first steps? As you get back into the quote unquote real world, and you're trying to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
What are the first steps in that journey?
Yeah, the first steps definitely happened in there. It happened with the self-reflection. It happened with trying to define what I want, my purpose. I think finding a purpose is what's really huge. Like, why are you on this earth? Like, and to just bring a little bit of astronomy in there, like, there's a 200 billion stars, roughly, in the Milky Way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 200 billion Milky Way-ish galaxies
Right.
in the universe, right? So it just the universe is so vast and so large that it makes you feel so small sometimes, and like it's hard it was hard to like tell myself that the decisions you make and your purpose here on life or your existence here on life, if it wasn't the case, if you were like dead or gone, what it in the larger scheme of things does it really matter? And so at a young age, it was hard to really define that. Be like, yo, does it matter? Does like my life matter? Does my existence, like, do people really care?
Yeah.
You know, if you died, life goes on. Like and not to say like, oh, like suicidal thoughts or anything. It was just more like you just had this like, it was very depressing. It was very
just like a
cynical,
cynical
like attitude towards life.
Nothing mattered. Yeah.
And then, but you realize that your life absolutely matters. Like I convinced myself that.
How far into it did you like come to that realization?
Yeah, definitely. It took a while. I was very sad in jail for the first part. I mean, 17, you going to California prison. I don't know if anybody knows about Cali prisons. It's like very, very rugged, very ruthless. It's very political. It has its challenges. And then being young, you're even more susceptible to like get into some bullshit because you're surrounded by older people who are in that bullshit, who can easily persuade or have the ability to really like define like what direction you're going. And I was blessed. I met somebody who was Muslim. I got more into Islam while I was in jail. And this brother, he would always tell me like, you are what you eat. He'd always tell me that you are what you eat, which really means that like what you surround yourself with, what you intake, what you see, what you use your senses for. If it's negative, it's going to produce negative results, and if it's as much positive as possible, it's going to produce as much positivity as possible.
Right.
And that stuck with me, and people like that kept popping in my life, and I kept listening to my dad. And I think a really changing factor too was Egypt was going through a civil war.
Right. Yeah.
Back I think 2012, 2013. I have cousins back home who are like arrested by the government, right? So like they're fighting for freedom, right? And they going to jail. And my dad, he came to visit me one time. He was like, yo, like you know, your cousin is fighting for freedom, and he has this life that's like drastically different, these opportunities that are drastically different than what you got.
Right.
And like I left Egypt to come here to try to like build this family and this lifestyle for y'all.
Yeah.
And you like squandered it. You just all these opportunities you had, you just threw it out the window. And it hit. That hit.
Yeah. Cause
you see people around, and I'm like, even while I was in jail, in the joint, these people that I was surrounded with even had it worse than I did. And you could see it's like, it's no wonder you're here. Like you were dealt these cards in life, right? Your mom is, you know, a crackhead, your dad's in jail, or your mom's dead, your dad's in jail, your cousin's raising you, like all these crazy life stories. And here I am with people I could call, money on my books, like I had it good. And I started realizing like my life, I can make anything out of it. If I really just decide to do something that I care about, I could do anything. Right. And so I did. Like school, that's the direction I'm going.
So then in while you're down, like what are you thinking about? Like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do when I get out, like as far as career wise or school wise. Like.
Yeah, it was tough. So you don't really have access to the internet, so you don't.
Hold on, I want y'all to think about that.
So you really
no, just like no access to internet, like
no internet.
Because again, just the story you're describing is, you know, a bunch of obstacles and so many things in your way, where just not having internet would fuck up a lot of people's day.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. But,
and not only that, but it's like how many stories do you see? Right. 7 years, like you don't even know. Are there people out there with PhDs or degrees in the stuff that I want to study? Like, is that even possible? Like, and you can't search. You can't be like, oh, the person with felony, astrophysicist. Like, so it's like you try to make a decision, but you're constantly in doubt on the direction, especially in STEM. I was just on a panel the other day talking about the lack of opportunities in STEM for people who are incarcerated, because not only is it a lack of courses and college work and you know, professors and need for people to get into STEM, but it's also on the back end. It's like, will you get a job? Will you be able to work and provide for yourself and your family? And it's a big risk. Whereas something like humanities, right? If I was in jail and I said I want to be a counselor to help people who were like me, that's very much welcome, right?
Right,
It feels
yeah.
like it fits.
Yeah.
But if you say you want to, cure cancer, it's like, oh man, like,
Slow down.
like
yeah.
will Pfizer hire you? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I can't
I
even.
was
go
wondering
to-
about that. So
Yeah.
that's really interesting. But I mean, the main point, takeaway for anyone watching is, bro, you changed your whole life. You turned it around. You could have easily got out and just went back to bad shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So, props, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, life's been good.
So like, what's the next step for you, like in your life right now? You know,
Yeah.
like, how have you been able to stay present? And like, what's the next step you're looking forward to?
Like, what are all the programs that you're doing and all that?
Yeah, definitely. So I had a dream, become an astrophysicist, PhD, and just graduated, about to graduate, and applied to various universities.
Yeah.
Got into Santa Barbara, still waiting to hear back from other universities. So I'm there. Like the PhD's coming, probably be another like 4 years.
Amazing.
And yeah, so it's like I've had this vision, have this goal, and really just stuck with it through all the bullshit. And it's coming. But beyond that, it's I think because it was hard to gauge whether I could do it because I didn't know anybody else who did it. It's a matter of showing other people that it can be done, right? That is possible. So that's that. As far as the nonprofit stuff I'm involved with, Prison to PhD was started by Dr. Stan Andrees in Maryland, and he did 10 years in the feds. He got out, and he's a endocrinologist scientist. He studied diabetic medicine at Johns Hopkins, like one of the best medical institutions in the world. And he was grinding through life, and now he's started this nonprofit organization that pretty much does what I'm trying to say is that he was an example, and he wanted to show that this example is possible. It's like, and not only if it's not possible, that it can be possible. Like you could break those ceilings and those barriers. You just need to make a connection with, or have a solid foundation with people who are struggling just like you, and then have support from the outside to say that we're going to also like try to support your endeavors. I've noticed that since I've been out with all the networking I've done, that majority of people I encounter want to be a part of my success more than trying to like stifle growth.
Right.
And I've been blessed.
Because you put that energy out too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You try to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think,
so explain that.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that kind of idea of being an example is something that Jevon and Mike might be able to relate to, as far as, you know, not seeing too many people have done what either of you guys are doing, and still kind of like not necessarily having a mentor in that. So if y'all want to,
Yeah, it kind of
about
comes down to, like you said, you make a choice.
Yeah.
You know, we all have choices in life, and I don't know. I think it all starts with just one day you decide, like, I want better, or I want to change a path, or I want to, you know, build something in my life. And from that day forward, you just don't look back and like really just take on those risks that allow you to do that. And then it becomes like part of your lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like overcoming that fear.
That fear,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's like courage. You know, courage is like doing something despite the fear you have, but it's like that faith.
You don't know how the outcome, like falsely, like you don't know the outcome with astronomy. You don't know the outcome with anything, any decision you make, especially if it's long term. Like you throwing everything in it, and you talking like the reward you reap in the benefits 10, 20 years down the line. Like, you don't know what that looks like. So it's just a matter. I've noticed that it's better to have a direction and to walk, and then have all these other doors open up that you're able to maneuver into, right? Like, and let's say you don't end up where you thought you were going to end up, but you end up somewhere else that's beneficial, that you like, that you enjoy. You only knew that because you chose a direction in the beginning, right? Like, so you just throw your cards on the table, you make those steps, and then you adapt as necessary.
What about you, Mike?
Nah, bro, he hit it right on the head. It's literally waking up and making that decision and shutting everyone else out, because people are going to doubt you. Yeah. But as soon as you get there, hey, man, I was rooting
congratulations,
for you the whole
man.
time, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's what it is, and I love that you are what you eat. It's literally all it is. Every time, every person that we've surrounded ourselves with it's manifested into bigger things.
Oh, absolutely.
So I love that.
How's that? Oh, no, go ahead.
No, just about shutting people out. So I've noticed this just happened, that I've applied to all these universities. I'm still waiting to hear back, but I've gotten 3 different responses that I feel like really is an example of how I will encounter people in my life forever, right? So in my application, I really defined my growth. I talked about my past, and I let them know, like, I'm really committed to trying to get a PhD for all my applications, right? So they all know my history. They all know what I've done. Cool, right. Like, you can't hide that. So you got to really control the narrative. You got to really like accept it,
right, and
try to push past it. And one university, they accepted me. No interview, no nothing. I talked to him on Zoom. He was like, yo, your story I vibed with, and I want you to be at my university. Another one wanted to do an interview, and the dean of physics reached out. I did the interview. They were also very impressed and all that. But the dean of physics reached out like this week and was like, yo, I need you to, he said, detail what you did. Right? So he's like asking me like as if he doesn't, like, and that's a hard thing to talk, like, detail what you did. So he very skeptical, very like, oh, are you really who you say you are? And then other universities just flat out said no. And I don't know for a fact if that's directly related to my history. Only God knows. But I've been rejecting. I think in life, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna encounter people who are for you, people who really want to see you thrive. Mm-hmm. You're gonna encounter people who are very skeptical about your vision. And you're going to people who are just going to reject it, and you can't get away from that, right? You really just gotta just continue to put your applications out there, put your story out there, and just vibe with the people who vibe with you.
So I kind of want to hear more how important the work you're doing is, with like taking away the box, and like fixing the application system and bringing resources back to communities and people. Because it's kind of like this thing I was hearing about the other day. It's like freedom to hunger. It's like you can give somebody freedom, but if you don't give that person resources, then it's like you put them right back in the same situation. And they're gonna starve. And like they're forced to go back to the old missions because they don't have resources. So it's like freedom to hunger.
So in Colorado, as far as the policy work that I did, Colorado, they had this question on college and employment applications to ask if you had a criminal history. And if you can imagine, they said 1 out of every 5 people who would start an application in prison or start application for higher education, once they get to that question, they would stop. They wouldn't. 1 in 5 applications for people who, or 1 in 5 people for people for those applications, they would not apply because they'd see it and they'd be like, oh, you asking this for a particular reason. Your reason is that if I have something, then you're not going to accept me. So why pay the $50 application fee? Why go through those hurdles? So it really emphasized that your history is a part of you. Your history matters. What you did will always forever follow you.
Well, that's like crazy. Like,
to hear that everywhere you go, every housing application you go to, you can't find a house, you get work, you can't do nothing without trying to relive the bullshit that you did in the past. And so it's not working, right? And it's not working because we see recidivism rates are 64% in the nation.
Explain that. Yeah.
So 64% of people who get out, and it depends on how you define recidivism. Some people, it's not universal, but around 64% of people who get out within the first year, 3 or 5 years, go back to prison. And you want to know like why is it so high? Why are so many people making the same mistakes? They just got done doing some bullshit. They went through some bullshit, and now they're out. They have a second chance, and they make the same mistakes. And I think it's because society as a whole, we have these stigmas about people who have been incarcerated, and we make it very difficult for them to succeed. Rather than trying to do the opposite, we should be throwing hella resources to people who are struggling.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I always thought it was one of those things where people get out and they don't have any opportunities, they don't have anywhere to go, their back is right up against the wall, so why not just go back to prison? Is that a thing?
I've seen that, Yeah, I've seen that.
It's better, right?
I've seen that mostly for people who like are definitely struggling.
Yeah.
So like you get out, you have no home.
Yeah.
And especially in jail, so they're like, oh, and we incarcerate people for just being homeless. You know, you can't sleep in parks. Like,
Right.
Wow.
so I mean,
You
life
can't
is
just
hard.
be.
Yeah, you can't just be. But so some people are like, yeah, I'd rather, because I have 3 meals, I
Yeah.
have a roof over my head. It's
Right.
cold in Colorado, so I have warmth. It's better for me to be in prison. But I think that's more of a how do we help those who have mental health issues, help those who deal with homelessness. Help those who have drug addiction, a lot of that. If you down and out, I think it's incumbent on society, it's incumbent on us to try to help those people who are don't have as much luxuries or benefits as we do.
Yeah.
What would you tell a 17-year-old person just entering prison like a month ago?
Yeah, watch what you eat. I'll tell them, watch what you eat. You are what you eat, man. That's just what it is. If what you want in life is this direction, then you made it. You successful. You going down the path you decided. But if you want something else, there's resources out there, and there needs to be more resources out there to help those people. Colorado, there's no education program. I went from California to Colorado, tried to finish up my degree, take some classes, and I had no support besides my family. I remember studying calculus in a cell, and some kid my age, everything is similar. He was just like, yo, like, what are you doing? You in school? That's what's up. How can I do it? I want to go to college.
Right.
And the reality is, like I have, my parents to help financially support me while I was incarcerated. His mom was gone. His dad was in jail.
Damn.
Like, he was struggling. And where's his relief? Where's his support? Not everyone has the same story.
Did that kind of like make it more like real for you? Like, I have to do it. Like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
Right.
I mean, this degree is as much for me as it is for everyone else who's struggling in the system.
Right.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
How important do you think it is to have that type of representation in the roles you play?
Yeah, I think it's huge. It's what I outlined in my all my applications as well. Is that this? It's not because I'm spectacular, right? Like, I'm not any more bright or any more capable. I think success is like, I forgot who said it, but success is like 80% luck. The cards you were dealt in life,
Right.
and then like 20% like grit, like the decisions you make. And that's just what it is. I think that if I was given different opportunities or a different environment, then I would have had different results, right? So it's like, how do we give those people the same opportunities and guidance and instruction that I had, right? And not everyone's going to have a mom and dad, but do they have peers? Do they have people who do they have financial support? Do they have these structures in place that will give them a better chance or better luck in finding success?
Right.
Oh man, Majid, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
Man, I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you, man.
Where what's next for you? Any like upcoming projects or hoping to get into these PhD programs?
Besides school, I'm on a couple panels. Been panelists. I just did one for the STEM. It's called STEM Ops, ran by Princeton University. So
oh shit.
Yeah, I was on a panel yesterday. I got another panel coming up on the 14th. Really trying to build out this prison to PhD here in Colorado. So our goal is to try to start a cohort for the first time this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're trying to just network with local communities, local people who are actually going through it and can actually benefit and really build out that support system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
I don't even know.
They want to hit you up for some information, IG or something?
Yeah,
Or-
IG. What is it? Reinvent yourself. Reinvent yourself.
We don't even know his own IG.
I'm not an influencer. I don't know. Like, hashtag prison PhD. What
It ain't
else?
astrophysics.
I don't even have a snap. I'm saying.
Word. Well, yeah, check it out.
IG,
Go
check it
go
out.
Support the guy.
Yeah, prison to PhD. Reach out, Colorado. We're expanding. trying to help as many people as possible.
Right.
Blessings to you on your
man.
jersey, bro. On your journey.
I appreciate you.
Blessings to you, bro.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
y'all.
thanks for coming through.
For this opportunity, man. Y'all killing it. That's what's going on. Y'all killing it in life.
Thank you.
Trying to get like you, bro.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Yo, another great episode in the books. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are looking for more episodes. You can find us on any other streaming platform that you have. Other than that, much love, y'all. Be safe. Peace.